seated. Everyone received their monthly minutes from the last meeting. Any additions or corrections or questions? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Get a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Treasurer's report. We should all have a copy of the treasurer's report. Any questions? Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Reading of the bills. I did have a couple of questions. On number 14, it appears that the New York State, there's two invoices for the New York State inspection. So just make sure that you adjust.
Yeah, I got Rick's note. It appears that they sent me one repair order, and then I didn't realize that the other two, there was a second one behind it. So it's listed twice. It should only be $70.
The other one was number 17. That was the quill for the annual, which is the annual renewal and then office supplies. On the sheet, though, you only accounted for the annual renewal. You didn't account for any of the office supplies. In addition, any of the office supplies should be brought up just like any other purchase for the commissioners to approve ahead of time.
Okay.
And then there was one more that I had a question on.
Number 24.
Was it John?
Yeah. Yes, number 24.
The cover sheet and on the bills to pay says kitchen inspection.
But it doesn't look like that's what the invoices for.
But the invoice is for an actual repair.
Yeah, it's for repairs to truck one. That's a total screw up on my part as to who it was billed for. The amount is correct. It's just the wrong.
Narrative.
So it's repairs for truck one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I just want to make sure to note too, the number 23 for EBS, that was for Lysander Rescue 7, not Squad 1.
Okay.
Sorry, I have some quick math.
I got it here.
21, 862, 25.
Yep.
Is that right, Chris? That what you got?
I got 21, 862, and 25 cents.
Okay, yep. I'll make a motion to pay bills vouchers 1 through 25 for $21,862.25.
I'll second that.
Rick?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Casey?
Yes.
General information. The last day to notify the district secretary in writing of an intent to run for the upcoming commissioner position is November 18th. In order to vote in the commissioner election, you must be a resident of the Northwest Fire District and registered to vote with Onondaga County Board of Elections by November 16th. The commissioner's election will be held December 8th from 6 to 9 here, Baldwinsville Station 1, Kriego Road, sorry. Administration, employee reviews are, first pass is done for most of them. I just need to send it out to all of you for a review, and again, someone needs to pick up Wayne's review. But I will have this out to you. I must send it to you before the meeting today, and I just completely forgot. Chris, do you have anything?
No, not right now.
I don't have any update on financial unless Chris, you have something, or I'm sorry, Rick.
No, I don't have anything.
Tony, truck maintenance?
Yeah, I have a handful of stuff. RTP 1678. This is for Squad 2. I need to put a new battery in, and I also want to install what we call a master switch that controls all the accessories. What it's preventing is battery drain. For $900, a new battery and some miscellaneous materials and labor. It's just a little bit, basically a day's work. That's RTP 1678. I'm going to read down my RTPs. Okay. RTP 1771 to EVS for Lysander Rescue 7 electrical issues. That was $250. What we had there, just as an FYI, basically, you know, the age and whatnot, a lot of things were just loose. There wasn't a major issue. They actually did us, I think, really justice with the 250. Fixed a bunch of crimps and whatnot, and it's back ready to go. RTP 1776 to Roger Phelps. We had a tire repair on a Chief's car, Squad 1 inspection at $70. I'd like to act on those. Actually, we only have to act on 1678 and 1776. Can we do that right now? Would you be opposed to that? It would be RTP 1678 and RTP 1776 for a total of a 970.
You should act on all three of them.
Okay, a 970.
12, 20.
All right, hold on, 12, 10, 12. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to act on 3 RTP 1678, 1771, and 1776 for a total of 1220.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I just have for Chief Rosique, I have, and it has to go in this orientation, Chief. Lysander Rescue 7 is getting tires on Thursday. That's 11/12. Then on Friday, we're going to do Squad 2 Baldwinsville. Okay? And then on Monday, we're going to do Lysander Squad. If you could help me out with it to get them over there, if you could help me out with that, please. First thing in the morning, if you wanted to drop them off at night to make it simple for somebody, that's fine. But that's all scheduled. This was approved. We had to wait the 30 days. The 30 days is up today.
Are they all going to McCarthy?
What's that?
Are they going to McCarthy?
Actually, no, they're going to Nobles.
Okay.
Nobles, I have, that RTP, I'm sorry, is 1935. I got one RTP for the 3 vehicles. This was state bid on tires. Okay? Other than that, we're plugging along. All the PMs are done. One thing I want to remind people is when you take your Chief's car or when you're taking something, maintenance-wise, I gotta know. Because I'm getting calls recently, you know, the guys are taking care of them like they're supposed to, but I get a call for approval on something from a vendor, and I don't know anything about it. So we could just, John, send me send a reminder to your chiefs. Guys, when you send your trucks to PM, just let Tony know ahead of time. That way I can expect a call. The vendors are doing right now. They're calling and saying, I got a screw loose, you know, can I fix it? So things are good. I just, a little bit more of a, just so I know it's coming. That's, other than that, that's it. We're okay. I'm good.
Okay. Moving on to building and grounds. Jeff?
Lysander Station 1, heard it was paved on Friday. I went out and looked at it yesterday and be very happy with it.
I'm sorry, did you say not or very?
I'm very happy.
Very. Just making sure.
The only thing they got left to do is stripe it, and then once they stripe it, then we can pay them the $3,900 that we held off for them. So I'll let Joanne know. Pole barn electric, almost completed. Power is out there, lights are working. I got a couple things to finish up before the inspection, and then once the inspection over, I can finish backfilling, and then that wants to do their fire inspections of our 2 locations. Unfortunately, they want to charge us $35 per site, which I think is wrong, but I have not scheduled it yet with the code enforcement, but it's going to be $70. That's what they want to charge us. We could do 2 pre-times of their property and call it a quarter, but that's my opinion.
That's nice.
But it's up to you. I talked to them the other day about it, so whenever
We gotta get it done, so let's,
I don't know how they're paying it, I don't think bill us or how they do it, I can talk to them about that.
is this the first time we've been?
No, they did it last year.
Okay.
They didn't charge, right?
They did-
That's what I'm asking, the 35,
Yeah, it's just a money grab.
So all commercial inspections are being charged.
Residential, we charge 20.
$20 for residential. So I will, you're okay with this? I know it's $70, but the principle.
it needs to be done.
It's the principle to me, but I will go ahead and schedule it. I got one other thing I forgot to put on the agenda. Station 2 gets odor in the building once in a while. I think it's the oil separator pits out back. Doug Nietzsche did give me, he works for the county, he did give me a name of a product that they use. I will research it and try to get with Wayne to see if we can get some to have it. It does, at times you go out there, it does smell bad. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it does. So a lot of it is how much the drains get water usage too. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I went out there a week ago, and they opened up the door and about knocked me on the face, so we definitely gotta do something.
So I will get with Wayne to see what the cost is for the workshop. Purchase whatever comes in. I don't know if it comes in a barrel, gallon jug, I don't know. Something like that.
Can you guys just keep hopping the loop on what's being used or what they recommend, or just from a safety standpoint, so he knows what's, what's going on?
I'm sure there's, I believe there was I asked him about, you get it, keep hopping.
Yes, I have. The RTPs from the workshop, adjustment was adding the rims to the snow tires for the chief's vehicles. That brought that RTP total to $4,767 for all 3 chief vehicles for 4 snow tires, rims, and the air pressure sensors. And essentially it's just read down all the RTPs.
Nothing else changed in the workshop, correct?
That was the only change was the rims for the snow tires.
Questions?
I just struggle with these tires before we even give it a chance on the tires that came with the vehicle. I just struggle dropping $5 grand for snow tires. That's my personal opinion. You know, if we get into the winter season and we're really having problems, I have no problem spending the money, but to spend it up front when we haven't even given these tires a chance on these valves, to me is just rushing to judgment. That's just my opinion.
Wayne, I can't remember if we talked about this. We had thought at the last meeting that the tires were the same as what was on the Inceptors. Did we verify that? I can't remember.
The tires are different. The ones on the Inceptor are 245s, and the ones on the Tahoe are 265.
That's size. I'm talking tread wear. That's what I'm interested in.
They are a beefier all-season tire. You know, a little bit different tread than what's on the Inceptors, but you You know, they are still classified, it's a high performance all-season tire. Not that I don't know if that's any different.
We're not tire experts here. We're looking at, yeah, just shy of $5,000. On so, Chief, what we can do, I mean, we're in November now. Maybe work with us and run them for a couple months. And if they blatantly don't work, then come back to us. We have to go off your, you know, we're not driving these things, but we just don't want to spend $5,000, or at least some of us don't want to spend $5,000 when we haven't, because they are a different treadwear than what's on your smaller Fords. So you know, run them for a couple months, run them through some snow. If they're a real issue and they're a real issue, then bring it back to us and tell us. But without giving it a shot, working with us on this, it's tough. I certainly don't want to blatantly tell you no, that, you know, but I certainly run them for a couple months. See what the guys think. If we need to do it, then we'll know in a few months, right? I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
I think that's a good recommendation.
You know, not saying no, but just hold off for us. You might find that they're really good, or we might find they're really bad, but without, yeah, that's
your criteria for really good.
your judgment. I trust your judgment. I trust what you're saying. If you're in the trucks and they,
This conversation, Tony.
what's that?
If you did, we wouldn't be having this conversation. These tires are all season. They are not meant for snow. There's a reason they make snow tires. There's a reason they recommend them. There's a reason all the police Tahoes, all the other Tahoes that are out there that are used for the county, etc., put snow tires on it.
So, okay, so you want to go that direction. Why didn't you bring this up to us when we bought them? If we would have ordered the proper tires with them.
I did.
Well, at this point, I'm making a motion to go move forward with all the RTPs with the exception of the RTP 1930. So I'd like to wait 2 months, run them through the snow, and if we need to make a change or buy them in 2 months, so be it. But that's my recommendation.
I'll second that.
I don't know the math.
Just subtract that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Yes.
$8,772.98.
Rick?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
Becky? Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Tony, do you have anything else?
No.
Security and computers.
Status quo. Haven't heard back from Doyle on current record.
Do they want our business? I mean, we
Twice.
can't be sitting here waiting on this stuff. We can't get the station locked up if we don't have that.
I know.
Well, maybe we need to give them a deadline and say, you either have this to us by X date or we start shopping.
Yep.
I don't know what else to do. We've given them 4 months. You can't get a quote in 4 months.
We didn't
Not
really
saying
push
you.
the quote until last month. I guess they told us a while back they were gonna get us one, but when I reached out about a month ago.
That's not a true statement. I talked to them in the spring, and I told them in the spring I needed a quote for that upgrade, software upgrade. So they knew in March that we needed that, and we never got it.
All I mean is, since I've been involved in it, I reached out to Danny a little over a month ago, he was on vacation or something, and then finally I talked to them right before I left. And that's the stuff I gave you guys for the workshop.
Yeah, you know, this is similar to our deals with United Radio and Al Tompkins' place on the station and stuff. And I mean, we waited for how long for a quote from United Radio to do radio. I don't understand why these vendors, I mean, I question whether or not our money
I'll look
is
around
good or
and
not.
see if there's
Maybe that's what I'm missing.
I'll look and see if anyone else supports the carry system in the area.
Well, either that or maybe tell them, give them a deadline, say, if you don't have the quote by November, our workshop, or tell them, we have to have it by the workshop, don't give them an option. Okay, and I said everything else is status quo.
Yep.
Safety report, Mr. Hopper?
Yeah, I said a couple of reminders here. The weather's coming, it's going to be changing, we mentioned it before. Some things I want to focus on for a couple of minutes. Slip, trips, and falls injure and kill people every day when our weather changes. More, obviously, more injuries and deaths, but still, nonetheless. So, to avoid that, a couple of tips that we can take is have proper footwear. We had an event here about 6 or 7 years ago where one of our firefighters was injured because he had the improper footwear even when he was standing by a vehicle. Improper footwear would look like sneakers, sandals. I've seen some crazy stuff in my time out there. Not here, but in my time out and about. So that's good for the station or for the members, the apparatus, obviously defensive driving. Slow down, don't rely on lights and siren to get you through an intersection. You know, you have your situational awareness up. One little tip that I found good, which seems to work, is that when the pump operators are busy, they get water on the ground, they put speedy dry or ice melt down, keep their walking surfaces clean and as dry and as ice-free as possible. The station's the most controllable place. We need to make sure ice melt and clearance of the exits are done on a routine basis, and the driveways as well. We've got responders coming out. Again, responders got to be careful how they proceed as well. COVID-19 still here. I see some good news perhaps in the short run as far as vaccines, but I think most of you have heard or seen the new release here on the information for the county and the zones. If you haven't, I got an extra copy of here. This will be something to take a look at and get familiarized with what they're doing. We are primary, or I'll call ourselves first responders, that's what we are. So we need to be able to respond safely in return. And part of that is also our management of the potential for COVID. Making sure we have the proper PPE available, we're using it. And when you're in the house, same thing. The tracing log that we use to trace if there's an event, we've got that documentation available to us. And as well as the people in the station performing the right behaviors for PPE. If anyone has a question about what that is, there's enough documentation. We have a temporary operating guideline for this whole practice and policy. So if anybody has any questions, please ask. Actually, I think that was it. Oh no, I had one other quick thing. Project that's been going on for a while, the upgrade of our safety data sheets has been completed. Wayne put together the books. He's going to do some more separation to make it easy to identify a product by its alphabetical noun name. He's going to make those enhancements in the books and then put out in the 4 stations. The idea of the SDS is if somebody has to work with a chemical, they can look it up before they do it. They can look it up after it's got a spill or some other situation where they need to get help, what measures to take, such as fire and cleanup and so on. They're designed to stay in the books. However, one thing we used to do is back if somebody got injured here and it was affected by a chemical, take the page out of the book with you. It's one of our materials. Take it with you to the hospital. It will help the ER in process the individual and treat them. Otherwise, the pages stay in the book. And please, we're reducing our footprint of chemicals every day, which is doing a good job of that. We've got to continue with that. But to make that work, we have to make sure we're not bringing stuff in and dumping it on the table or chair or throwing the cabinet. It's not ours. We need to take accountability for that. Anybody have any questions for me? We're still doing well in the injury rate. Let's keep it going. we'll get to the end of the year and we'll start over again, and hopefully everything changes to the best of 2021. All right, no one else has anything for me? I'm on the report, thank you.
Do you know what the SCBA compressor maintenance is? It's on.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I spoke to Chief Rosique. He said something about there was some indications that the compressor was out of service. I was not notified, did not receive any. What had happened was Fletch Air, who's our other company that comes in and does our PMs, 6-month and annual air tests. During his PM, he discovered a cracked valve on the purification skid, which eventually could have failed apparently. So I said, you got to tell us when you have these things. I've got to know for a couple reasons. Is the system out of service? Is it a long-term fix or problem? And do I have to get air from someplace else? So, and we don't want to also track costs to make sure there won't be costs. So I put myself down as I have been as a contact. So if there is an issue, call me. 24/7, 365 like everybody else. I may ask somebody else to be an alternate on daytime because that's when they're around. So if something comes in, they don't get me right away, and they can go to the next person. At least tell us what's going on. If the thing goes out of service, we need to know that. Did I answer everybody's question? Did I get that right? Yep. I should have looked at my menu right here. I had it here. So, be safe out there, folks. Thank you. Someone else has anything else?
Thank you. Chief Rosique?
Yep, just October monthly report. Baldwinsville responded to 7 kill alarms on December 10. I do have some CPR updates that are coming forth from the American Heart Association, AHA. We will have to upgrade our training manuals and our mannequin set to be compliant with the requirements that are coming out. I'll bring you those requests for the workshop, but just so you're aware that it's coming forth, and otherwise we will not be able to teach CPR in the very near future. And then I would like to address the portable lights that were previously tabled. These are a necessary item. We had several alarms that we could use this portable lighting. Portable lighting was not available, or not enough portable lighting was available. And the most recent example was the outdoor fire we had the other night. We had 25 firefighters in the woods fighting an outdoor fire with minimal lighting. An injury could have happened very easily. An additional portable lighting and battery operated lights would have prevented some of that, or at least some of the questions.
Wayne, refresh our memories on what we asked in the table.
2 for the portable lights. You left me the quote here. It's $1,150 per light, a total of $2,300.
Is that the one that you had cover pricing down on though?
Yeah, I had 1176 and 1150.
Right. What was the number again I put here?
1150?
1150 per light.
So it was $2,300 for 2 lights.
Thank you.
What are the, what lights are they?
I can show you a picture. They're the Akron Rebel Scout lights. Pictures and quotes there. Yeah.
They're battery, right?
Yes.
LPT 1734.
Reading the quote for $1,050.
Not my everything.
Says it's 1 demo unit. So you're telling me they have 2 demo units?
He has 1 demo unit and then the other one is new. The demo unit's only been used about an hour.
Okay.
It says it's
Reasons.
brand new.
Oh, because you're doing 1 and 1 then?
Yes.
On this, all right.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and purchase the 2 lights at a total of, you said 2,300? It's hard for me to hear.
It'll be $2,300.
Yeah, I'll make that motion at $2,300 for the 2 lights.
Do you have a second?
I don't think anybody heard you.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
I guess I'm a tiebreaker. I'm gonna give the money, so I'm gonna say in favor of it, so it passes. Okay.
What account are you thinking of? Just pull from a different line.
If it needs to. There's enough, I mean, I budgeted operating, I know how much we can spend a month to make it through, and we haven't hit that, so we should be fine. Chief, that was it?
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. We have nothing under nominations or resignations. So, old business, Station 3 update, progress, paving is starting this week. And they're working on the punch list. I am meeting Elizabeth on the 18th to go do another walkthrough to hopefully to go through the punch list to make sure that everything's been completed on it. We're getting close to the certificate of occupancy. But I'm hoping end of the month, maybe a little sooner, maybe Thanksgiving week, just depending if we can get them out there and review it. We're getting close. That is the only thing I have for old business, unless somebody else has anything.
With that, just so you know, the radio system up there that Neutronics did, went up yesterday, and I noticed the alarm or the radio was working through the whole station, but none of the line controls were working. It turns out he doesn't have the scanner yet in there, so I called him today and told him Monday's his deadline. So he only works 1 day a week outside of the shop, and he's been dragging this out too long. So he said he will have it completed on Monday.
All right. Any other old business?
Do we want to touch on? Actually, I remember reading the workshop. We're good.
All right, moving on to new business. We have resolution 2033, which is to adopt the Service Award Program Special Response Rule. And bear with me because it's two-sided. Northwest Fire District Resolution of the Board of Fire Commissioners. Whereas, as authorized by Article 11-A of the New York State General Municipal Law, the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District established a service award program for the active volunteer firefighters of the Northwest Fire District. And whereas active volunteer firefighters earn service award program service credit under the service award program point system adopted by the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District. And whereas in response to the outbreak of the novel coronavirus COVID-19, New State Governor Andrew Cuomo, this must be New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, declared a state of disaster emergency and issued Executive Order 202 of 2020 in response to the state disaster emergency. New York State fire districts, towns, villages, cities, and other volunteer fire companies officials adopt special response rules restricting volunteer firefighter responses to emergency responses and to restrict the holding of activities for which points can be earned during the state disaster emergency. And whereas the adoption of the special response rules has affected the ability of active volunteer firefighters to earn the service award, and whereas in recognition of the negative effect the special rule has on the ability of active volunteer firefighters to earn service credit during 2020 under service award program point systems, New York State legislators and Governor Andrew Cuomo enacted legislation intended to prevent active volunteer firefighters who would have earned Service Award Program credit during 2020 from failing to earn a year of Service Award Program service credit during 2020 due to the adoption of Special Response Rule. And whereas this legislation, Chapter 113 of 2020, in the laws of the State of New York, authorized the Northwest Fire District Board of Fire Commissioners to adopt a resolution to amend the Northwest Fire District Service Award Program point system by adding a new category to the point system under which up to 5 points per month, prorated for a period of less than 1 month, may be awarded to active volunteer firefighters during the period when special response rules are in place. And whereas the Board of Fire Commissioners elect to adopt such a resolution, Chapter 113 of 2020 of the laws of the State of New York, provide that the adoption of such resolution does not require approval of the fire district residents at the fire district election. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by adopting this resolution, the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District adds the following new category to the Northwest Fire District Service Award Point Program system. COVID-19 pandemic of 2020. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020, the Board of Fire Commissioners adopted special rule response under which the activities for which volunteer firefighters could earn points under the Northwest Fire District Award Program point system was reduced effective of March 15, 2020. Such reduction in activities continued that the effective date of the special response rules were rescinded for all volunteer firefighters' activities restored by the Board of Fire Commissioners. From the effective date of the adoption of the special response rules and the effective date that such rules are rescinded, all volunteer firefighters of the Northwest Fire District shall be awarded 5 points per month for the months of April and May. As soon as administratively feasible, after the adoption of the resolution by the Northwest Fire District Board of Fire Commissioners on November 10, 2020, active volunteer firefighters of the Northwest Fire District shall be given a written notice of amendment announcing the adoption and the explanation of this additional category into the point system. Since the amendment to the Northwest Fire District Service Award point system is intended to prevent active volunteer firefighters who would have earned Service Award Program credit under the Northwest Fire District point system during 2020 from failing to earn the credit during 2020. The adoption of the resolution will have little, if any, effect on the annual cost of the Northwest Fire District Service Award Program. All other provisions of the Northwest Fire District Service Award Program shall not change as a result of the adoption of this resolution, and the program shall continue to be administered by the Board of Fire Commissioners of the Northwest Fire District in accordance with Article 11-A of the New York State General Municipal Law, as such laws amended from time to time, adopted by the Board of Fire Commissioners on November 10, 2020. Rick?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Craig?
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Chris, you wanted to bring up 10K grant service.
Yes, so the 2020 fiscal year AFG grant is, and SAFER actually, just got announced today too, are about to open. So I would like to hire 10K grant services again for the AFG grant for a vehicle replacement for engine 5 for $1,000, as well as I'd like to amend it to add $900 for a second grant for the 2020 SAFER to go for 2 to 3 new signboards. One would be Baldwinsville Station 2, Lysander Station 1, and then potentially Baldwinsville Station 1 if it qualifies.
Do I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to hire 10K grant services and approve RTP 1772 for a total of $1,900.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Potential new phone system?
Just wanted to give more of an update here. In order to switch away from the Spectrum internet plan stuff we're on. Advanced IT will host a cloud-based phone system, a lot cheaper, long run, easier to use. So I'm kind of getting a list of consolidating and getting rid of some lines. And they're going to give me annual quotes. So instead of paying Time Warner or Spectrum to host it, it'll be done.
Baldwinsville Lakeside Station 2 contract.
Commissioner Irwin from Lakeside Fire District reached out, it was probably a month or so ago now, asking to get together so they can, or we can work out a new lease agreement for Station 2. So definitely got to get something on the schedule, throw some dates out to Lakeside.
Yeah, I happened to talk to him on a different matter, like less than a week ago, and it kind of came up, so they're ready to move forward. They're ready.
District Chief Election Absentee Ballots. I think this was, I'm thinking in response to Sean.
I emailed about it. You emailed about it. So we allowed it for work and military last year, and I want to know if you're allowing any for COVID related. Because I need to start getting that information out to the number.
I think it's a valid concern. I don't have a problem with allowing the absentee ballot to include people that are concerned about COVID, but they also have to understand their only vote would be for district chief. It wouldn't be the down the ballot vote. So, but as long as it follows the same, same criteria, they have to reach out to me and they have to have it in the box by, all those other things. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, I think it generates an uneasy conversation, period, regarding the COVID deal. The date of the election is what? Of the chief's election?
December.
Saturday, December 8th.
Okay, where I'm going with this is we all were notified that the Lysander portion of our district, we're in a 25 max person gathering. At a Baldwinsville Fire Department election, they have 50 to 60 people. So how do we bridge that? That is not an option. I mean, it's not an option to break law.
Technically, you're not.
I can't hear you.
Technically, you're not.
Unless something changes, this is not the town of Lysander.
This is town of Van Buren in this building.
I see what you're saying though, Tony, and I hear your concerns, but I think we've been doing a very good job, or the members have been doing a very good job of listening to the requirements, sanitizing the station. We haven't had, not trying to jinx anything here, but we haven't had any problems. Anytime anybody's got an exposure, they report it directly to the chief, and it's handled.
So what I'm hearing, and I don't mean to push this, the river makes it go away.
Well,
Where our municipality is in both townships. What I heard, and again, I could be way in left field here. I heard when I listened to the press release from Ryan McMahon, it said any municipality within the town. That's what it said. No,
there's a map outlining.
I'm with you. So the river stops it. The river stops it. That's what we're saying.
I mean, it's no different than.
So we're willing to put a group of a large mass of people, 50 plus, that's a real number. We're willing to I say the risk versus benefit. Like any social gathering, for example, it's the same, or any general business meeting. We can have it in this building, but we can't have it in the new Station 3. I just think we gotta look at risk versus benefit here.
So what's your proposal? So give us something else, give us another proposal.
I'm not 100% sure because my head says one thing, my heart says another. I've always say risk versus benefit. If we have an election of 60 people, is that a real number, or am I overinflating when for a general election? For that chief, is 60 a real number?
Right now, there's approximately 64 on the rolls for voting members.
So we'll probably get 40, 45, 50. So imagine every 6 foot. I don't know. I don't have a suggestion. I just, unfortunately, normally I recognize something and I offer a resolution. I don't have one of those. I don't have a resolution. But I can tell you I'm very concerned about putting 50 plus people into this building when we can't do it across the river.
So this is only for 2 weeks and it's reevaluated. So is this something we just
Fair enough.
look at the workshop?
We have there's going to be a business meeting here, I believe either this Thursday or next Thursday. When is that, Rick? This Thursday. So that's a minimum. The month before the election will be 30 to 40 people here.
So obviously this is just who signed up.
I'm just concerned. We can move on. I don't know what the resolution is, but I'm bringing it up.
And I'm just gonna say, so let's just say backup plan, we get shut down, we can't hold an election. What about doing like a survey monkey and putting the question out to the members that way? There's your options for district chief, and you send the survey out, and they've gotta send it back within, it can't be days, you gotta have it back within.
I know in the
10 minutes.
I know in the chief's office, if we've ran into problems when we've been a district, is if you don't have a new candidate that people carry over. So hypothetically, worst case scenario, oh my God, we can't have the election. The people that are in those positions are hold over until we have the election. That's not an issue. Don't take this way out of context. I'm just concerned about our guys. And I'm concerned the risk versus benefit from business meetings to Thanksgiving celebrations amongst our troops. I'm just concerned about our guys. That's it. I know I'm going to get labeled for this, but I'm worried about our
So
people.
let's talk about solutions.
But
We can
when
do-
you're worried about the election, why can't you allow just so many in at a time and the rest wait out in line 6 feet apart like we had to do on election night anyways?
Again, I get it, and maybe somebody else has a better idea. I just don't have an idea. I just know I'm worried about it. I don't have an idea, Case.
If we're worried about the district chief one, I mean, why can't that be held like a regular political thing? You let 20 people can be in here and the rest of you are waiting out in line 6 feet apart?
I think it involves a conversation with the president of the company, but I'm just worried, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. So everyone think about it, put it back in the workshop.
Fair enough.
While
That's
we're
reasonable.
on the chief's election though, I wanted to bring up, on our policy, it states individuals not eligible to vote in the chief's elections for district chief and the chiefs are inactive life members, probationary firefighters, Rams and juniors, and then any was under the call. This is now a district election. We as the district do not recognize probationary members or firefighters. Lysander doesn't have any, so technically a Lysander member that's 2 months in could vote. We as a district only recognize inactive and active members.
But if it's specific in there, I think we can do that.
I mean, it's not, we don't have anything in our rules and regs that recognizes. Well, yeah, you have it on the sheet, but under membership, we have nothing that defines probationary versus.
We don't, but Baldwinsville does.
But this isn't Baldwinsville. This is Northwest Fire District. The district chief and the chiefs are now district run.
Right. So if we don't have anything on our bylaws and they do, Their bylaw,
Their bylaws can supersede ours.
their policy, they can't
Can't be
supersede
weaker.
ours, but,
Yeah, that's wrong.
Theirs can,
Well, they can't be weaker than ours.
right.
Yes,
More
they
than-
can't be less restrictive, they can be more restrictive. But, again, it's not, we as the board, as a fire district, cannot recognize membership levels like that. You're either active or you're inactive. And then, like I said, Lysander could have a new person that can vote for all the positions because there is no probationary up there.
Yeah, I get that, but it was written that way because Baldwinsville has probationary in their bylaws. So to account for it, it was written that way.
I really don't think we have to, and per town law, we got 2 levels of membership. That's what we can recognize. So, and this is district elections, not fire company.
So they can't vote in a regular department election, but you're gonna let them vote in the district election for the
But
district chief.
that's their choice. That's their choice not to allow them to vote. That's the fire company's choice not to allow them to vote. It was their choice to establish probationary.
This is one of those things that we have 2 different companies with 2 different rules.
Yep.
Have we ever, and I don't remember this, have we ever had an attorney's opinion on this?
we did send it to them,
Initially, yeah.
We did.
and there wasn't any problem with it, so we can go back and have a look at it.
I definitely recall this conversation about there is technically no probationary member in the fire district. It's within the company. I remember this. I don't know.
So how does that play for a RAM?
They're under 18. You can't vote.
Even though they're members of the fire company?
Can't vote.
What if they are 18?
Then they could. Legally.
Yeah, I think this is a legal thing because I remember.
Let's just go take it back to the lawyer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Because it was sent to them originally for them to sign off on it to make sure that we were in compliance, so let's take it back to them.
I agree with that.
So the last thing under new business is the commissioner election, safety precautions and setup. So I don't know if anybody's given any thought to how this is going to proceed. I've given it some thought just in general, and my thought process is this. And once I give, feel free to jump in, Safety Officer Hopper, feel free to give some commentary too. My thought process is to have the individuals come in that door. That's going to be the entrance. There's going to be a member, a commissioner, somebody standing at that door, taking the individual's temperature while they sign in. I don't want to have, and this is just my thought process, every individual picking up that temperature thing and putting it down, and you're going to have a mass amount of people touching it. Or you're going to have sanitizer there for them to wipe it down after each person. So my thought process is have one person there taking the temperature, then you don't have to worry about it. We can mark out some 6 feet apart on the truck floor if we need to, if there starts to become a line. They come in, they do their voting, and they exit out that door. We will go out and buy new pens. We will have sanitizer, Lysol wipes in there so that they can wipe the pens down to, here's the dirty ones, wipe them down. Now they're clean. That was kind of as far as I got as far as thought process goes. So,
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Funnel them in this way, kind of wind them around if there's going to be a line, which I'm not sure. In and out. I agree.
That's what we similarly did with the firefighter physicals.
okay.
An entry point, and when you course that point, it's traced, proceed to drop the paperwork off, and whoever's taking that responsibility, and they sit spaced out 6 foot apart, wait for their turn, go through the process. They're wearing PPE, sitting here, in this case, mask. They go in through the room, you can reverse the order, If you come in this way and around, you might be less disturbing to operations of this department. There's an alarm. If you're coming that way and tying up the corridor, you might want to strict it down. But
Yeah, I
we
guess
have,
it's
we can
not
also,
weather, because I don't know how the weather's gonna be. People aren't gonna wanna be lined up outside if it's 30
you
and
could Disney,
snow.
use the Disney idea in and out, back over here, wider space, better dissipation of airflow. I was gonna say something else. Essentially, I think it's, oh yeah, when you have people monitoring the doorway, 25 come in, not 26, not 27. You got to stage them someplace. Weather dependent. This is June or July, and it's moderate, it wouldn't be bad. So you might go to use a portion of the apparatus floor for that. Might do all the different things, so they're going to, clean the floor as much as possible, obstructions and whatnot. But they wouldn't get hurt. You can do something, and I'm thinking of also making sure you minimize the impact of the station normal operations. So how you route people, how you bring them in, you trace them, all that stuff. A safety plan can be generated to capture all this stuff, so we've got something for PESH and for ourselves, more importantly, to follow a plan. We're going to do it once this year, and that's it. And what we've done for the previous meetings prior to COVID, we've opened up the floor of the station. We've sat people like this out here on the floor with the the main table, if you want to call it that way, against the doors. So we've already got a practice doing that. So we can distance some people in here and maintain heat control, ventilation control for our officers' night, or the election night for officers, and that sort of thing. We've done that similarly without COVID.
Or I think the difference is that you may, depending on how, because this is going to be commissioner, so it's open to the entire community, not just us.
Right.
So there may be more people coming through as opposed to just our regular members.
Zoom would be difficult nationwide, but you're going to be vote taking, so that's not going to work.
Yeah, you can't use Zoom. Okay,
I
so
think we
that's,
could probably do something out with the limitations that are here spelled out, run it by someone of another, of our level. What would you do? I mean, there's a couple people out there that can help us with that, just to make sure we're doing the right thing.
so here's my second thought, to kind of follow up on the commissioner election. Because it is the second Tuesday of the month, it falls on a meeting night. Megan has to be here during the voting. So we have a couple of options. We can transition back to Zoom, where she can call in on the computer, or we could just move it a night.
Or we can what?
Just move it a night.
Can we go back to Zoom? Open meeting law suspension ended on the 3rd. He hasn't extended it yet.
It's public.
I'm asking, I didn't know.
We can check on it, but I don't see it would be a big deal. Or we just move it a night.
Yep.
I don't care either way. To me, it doesn't make a difference. We can move it to Monday or Tuesday, whichever. Well, maybe not Monday, because people are on Facebook.
Oh, one of the things.
Check the calendar to see if there's anything the next, either the day before, the day after. The warehouse is free, and then let us know. And we can make that decision.
That physicals, Phil? The
I
7th?
understand there thought to go back to using the station for processes. If you're going to limit to 25, that has to include the people that are in here filling these positions. So 24, 23, 22. We may only have 22, they have 3. So we keep the numbers. We're not playing the games with the numbers. We're keeping 25 bodies in the facility. Everybody else is somewhere else, in their car, somewhere else in the station. Just something to keep in mind. I can ask around. I've got the time. I can ask around and call some other organizations to see how they're doing things. There's got to be some other ones that are doing.
We do keep throwing 25 as a number, but remember, we are in Van Buren. That number right now is 50.
Hey, Becky, did the inspectors have specific concerns that they voiced, or was it just a general, what is our plan for?
So unfortunately, we asked them for some specific, give us some specific ideas, since you have kind of been through this with the towns.
Right.
And unfortunately, they have not
Okay,
gotten back to any of us.
okay.
And they're not unfortunately here tonight to ask. So,
Okay. Yep, no problem.
we're not even sure that they're going to oversee the election. We might have to find some additional
Okay.
bodies. Okay. Anything else under new business? All right, nothing under station usage. Comments from the public? Lively bunch tonight. Okay. There is a request for an executive session for an employment matter. There will not be any decisions made, so when we come back, we will just come back to adjourn the meeting. Next monthly meeting potentially is Tuesday, December 10th, but that's subject to change. And then the workshop is November 24th. To adjourn the regular meeting and go into executive session.
Make a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Do you have a second?
Second?